What's up everyone? My name's James, and in today's video we're going to talk about something that's a little bit different from normal. Obviously a lot of you guys know me as an Airbnb expert, experience with managing properties on Airbnb, with hosting multiple properties on Airbnb, all that. And so naturally I understand quite a bit about the tourism industry and I watch it relatively closely, the market overall. And as a lot of you also know, the stock market in the US and really worldwide has just been absolutely collapsing all over itself, for the last couple of weeks here. And it's expected that, or at least on my end, it looks like that's going to last for a little while longer here. We're potentially going to enter into a recession, and there are a number of companies that are really, really suffering right now, especially in the tourism industry, given everything that's going on in the world and how tourism is at an all-time low with everyone kind of being in lockdown. So in today's video, I want to talk about a couple different companies, three in particular that I've noticed, three different types of tourism industry companies that are taking huge hits right now, given what's going on. I also want to talk about why I actually see there's a huge opportunity and how I'm getting involved in a huge opportunity that I see in the market right now, and why exactly I think that, which is a little bit different from what other people might be saying. And then I also want to talk about how you can set yourself up to take advantage. How you can set yourself up to take advantage of what's going on in the world right now and all this chaos, because I realize that a lot of people are likely in survival mode right now. A lot of people are looking at this as let's try to cut our losses, let's try to really save ourselves. But the reality is that more millionaires are created from the stock market in recessionary periods than any other time in history. And there actually is a really big opportunity that's underpinning all of this chaos that's going on right now. So I want to talk about that as well, and how you, the average person, can set yourself up to really succeed and take advantage of that. So first off, let's talk about three different types of companies, and a couple companies in specific that I've realized are taking massive hits with everything that's going on in the world. The first of which has been all over the headlines. You probably have already heard of it, taking these huge losses, is cruise ships, specifically Carnival Cruise Lines, where a bunch of people got trapped a couple weeks, maybe a month back. People got trapped on the ship when they were really sick and they got stuck on there, and down went the stock. And so you can see that those companies are really suffering right now because of that, but also because of obvious reasons like, people aren't really going on cruises right now with everything that's going on in the world. And so those companies are, some of them up to 1/6 of what they were normally listed at. So you can see those companies are doing really poorly right now. The challenge for me with those companies, though, is that I don't understand that industry well enough. Yes, they do have a really nice moat around them, as Warren Buffett would say, being that they have really high overhead costs of starting one up. So it's pretty hard for new competition to enter into the market. But I'm really uncertain about what the overall 5-year and 10-year outlook for the cruise line industry really looks like. So I'm still staying a bit hesitant with those companies, though they are down very drastically over the last couple weeks and couple months here. The next one that I've noticed is airlines. So airlines are just tanking, a lot of them. And some of the companies that I'm keeping an eye on that I think are worth looking at are companies that are actual good companies. So like, for example, Southwest Airlines, WestJet, good solid companies that are actually run relatively well. And I like to look at it from just a consumer point of view as well. Looking at it from a consumer point of view, those are the airlines that I actually enjoy traveling with. So I suspect that over the long term, they're going to do relatively well. You also want to just read up on the financials of the company, really understand, again, don't really want to be investing into companies that are without any when you don't have a knowledge of the underlying principles of the economics behind those companies, all the financials, everything else. But you will notice that airlines have taken a huge hit overall. Again, I don't understand those businesses that well, so I'm still staying away from them, but there are some other people that are more knowledgeable than myself. You can find them on YouTube, you can find them all over the place. Bear in mind though that everyone has an opinion, and opinions are pretty much worthless, especially at a time like this, because everyone's just trying to be the one that can say that they called it and that something is going really well later on, that they predicted it, whatever. So airlines are taking a pretty big hit, and there are, I think, some pretty solid companies there, though again, I don't know enough about it to actually be investing in them. One of the companies that I have invested in is a hotel company. So I obviously, having the experience I have in Airbnb, in that kind of hospitality industry, I understand a little bit better and I can really wrap my head around it a bit better. So I, as an investor, feel more confident with those types of companies for the pretty obvious reasons there. Now, one of the companies that I've invested in is a stock called PK. It's basically Hilton. Their hotel brand is split into three different publicly traded companies. One of them being the hospitality company, and then other being PK, being the REIT, which basically is just an investment trust holding their real estate. So that is the company that I saw took a really big nosedive and that I have invested into. Again, I like to keep a lot of my money in my business, and I prefer to invest in myself, but this is something that I've always been a little bit interested in, so I'm starting to dabble into the stock market a little bit now. I have been keeping a lot of my money in cash, waiting for the markets to go down, which I know is against common wisdom, but for me, it's more of a secondary investment vehicle than anything. It's just kind of for fun. And so one of the companies that I invested in is ticker symbol PK, Park Hotels and Resorts, and that basically is one of Hilton's REITs that you can invest in. And basically what I noticed is that over the last 5 years, their company's value has never dropped below $20 a share. So the price of the shares has fluctuated between $20 and $30, so it's never been a massive growth. But right now, when I think I bought around when they were trading around $5, about $4.60 a share. And so I'm planning on holding on to that company. I actually got over a 40% gain in that company in the first couple of days that I bought into it. But again, that's largely just due to the volatility in the market. My plan is to hold on to that stock until the markets recover, which I suspect will be for tourism anywhere from the next 6 to 24 months from now. I think that tourism will start to pick back up in the next 6 or so months here. But I do think that the markets are likely going to take a little bit longer than that to recover. You can keep your eyes on a couple of different companies because what I've found is that these seem to be pretty solid companies with good financials, and everything's running relatively well with those companies. But because of the fear that's in the market right now, there's just been a lot of chaos and the prices have dropped drastically. That's also why I think that as an overall statement, there's a really big opportunity right now, because the reason that we're seeing the stock market decline right now is largely just due to fear and a bunch of speculation, a bunch of just fear in the market around everything that's going on with this whole sickness thing. And so the fundamentals of the company have not actually changed. There's no difference in the way they do business. There's no difference in the way that they make money. Their profitability is the same. Their retained earnings is the same. Like, the company itself still operates the exact same way. And so if a company was worth as much as it was 6 months ago, it's likely not had a really huge shift in how much that company is worth just because of what's happening right now in the world. There are some companies, like for example Carnival Cruise Lines, where I kind of question that, because there's potentially enough fear in the market around cruise lines for people to just kind of stay away from them altogether for a longer period of time and potentially run that company out of cash. So again, I'm a little bit more hesitant there. But for a company like PK that holds real estate, that has their company is backed by the real estate that it owns, they've been operating for a very long time, and there's no real fundamental difference in the way they do business. And I really have a hard time believing that fear is going to prevent people from going to hotels in the next 6, 24, 36 months. I think it's a pretty safe bet to be putting my money into that. Again, nothing substantial, but I am putting some money in there. Now, as far as how you, the average person, can just go ahead and take advantage of this and actually capitalize on what's going on in the world right now, there's one really big thing that you want to focus on, and that is cash. You want to have cash on hand. You want to make sure before anything else that you have enough cash on hand to keep you yourself running and your business, if you're a business owner as well, or an Airbnb host, you are a business owner, so just take that into account. You want to be able to cover your expenses really comfortably with cash you have on hand for anywhere from 6 to 24 months. The longer that you can support yourself, the bigger runway that you have with your cash, the better. Now, popular opinion is to have a 6-month kind of safety net there in place. I recommend having something longer because the peace of mind that comes along with that is absolutely tremendous. And then beyond that, having the cash that you have on hand, if you have an excess of 12 months, an excess of 24 months of cash on hand, then you can put that into companies that, like I mentioned, are very undervalued compared to where they actually should be. And another thing that you can do is you can focus your time now that you have onto building additional streams of income, building up cash flow that's going to come in month after month. Now, a lot of you I know are probably experiencing some kind of job insecurity. There's a lot of different fear in the market right now, and so you'll want to look for something that's going to be relatively independent of the recession that's going to come here. You don't want to put a whole bunch of work into right now starting a business only to have the recession impact that business just as much as it may have your job or your Airbnb or whatever you've been doing in the past. So if that's the case, you want to have a good steady stream of income, and a really great place to get that is real estate. I highly recommend using what's called the management fee model. I talk about that in a number of other videos. I'm going to link in the description here to a training down below that walks through how to do that. The management fee model for managing properties on Airbnb and short-term rental can be a really, really great way to build up some additional cash flow without a whole bunch of additional overhead and have consistent monthly income coming in. I know that myself and a lot of people I work with, one of the things that we love about the business is just that it does have consistent monthly income that you can predict how much money is going to be coming in month after month. It's not huge up and downs like, for example, real estate sales or all these different things that can have these huge lumpy income that can leave you really uneasy and have it just be a lot more difficult to get a good cash reserve on hand and to really just kind of have stability in your life. So if you want to learn more about that, like I said, there's a link in the description down below to training you can check out. And as for my overall thoughts on everything going on, I do feel like we are going to come out of this in the next 6 months, I think, 6 to 12 months on the tourism end of things, just in terms of tourism kind of picking back up and things kind of returning to normal and starting to return to normal on that front. The market, I suspect, is going to take a lot longer to recover. But again, myself, just like anyone else really in the world, we're all just taking our best guess at it. So like I said, the best thing that you can do to protect yourself is to have cash on hand and focus on generating more cash on hand. The better off that you are on those two fronts, the better off you're going to be overall, the more peace of mind you're going to have, and the more you're going to be able to actually take advantage of any opportunities that do present themselves out of all of this. So I hope this has been really helpful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Just take the time to click the little like button, the little thumbs up there below the video. It really does help me out a tremendous amount with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to get more content, I focus on specifically content around Airbnb for the most part. Like I said, it's a little bit of a different video. But if you're interested in my take on things, and if you're interested in learning more about Airbnb and how you can earn money on Airbnb, then subscribe to the channel and you can get notified every time we publish a new video, which is twice every week. So I really hope that you've had a great time. I hope you've learned something from this video. I hope you, if you have any questions, just leave them for me in the comment section down below, and I'll try to address them in an upcoming video. Until next time, have a great one, and continue to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you. We all are in this together. We have to take each day as it comes, and it's important to just remember to look for the opportunity in every situation. So, see you in the next video.